Hi everyone, it's Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. You probably can't tell too much, but my surroundings have changed a lot. They're a little messy. I am actually in the process of moving, so love that for me. Decided to move in a pandemic. But when life gives you an opportunity, sometimes you just gotta take it. But we're not here to just talk about that today. What I want to talk about is there's a new DLC coming to The Sims 4 called Kits. You've probably all heard about it. It's all over the Sims community website. It's all over Twitter. There's a lot of opinions going on. I was really hoping to get my review of paranormal stuff up before I talked about Kits, but I have filmed that video like 4 times and the audio keeps ending up like shit. So we're gonna have to postpone that for another time. Hopefully we'll get it up before the end of March. I feel like that's in a good timeline for all of my reviews. They come out like a month too late. But it is what it is. If anyone's actually interested in that review, it'll be out soon. It'll probably go very unwatched because I can't do anything in a timely fashion. Anyway, so we're getting this new DLC known as Kits, and they seem to work as we kind of know from the leaks, at least, that they're like these micro content transactions. They're like stuff packs, but even smaller and even more hyper focused. So it's a little strange. And I'm not really sure how I feel at this moment. This new pack type seems to allow the Sims team to explore new features that maybe EA wouldn't allow them to maybe fit into other projects due to like budget constraints, or maybe even, just time constraints. As we can see from what we learned from the kind of live uh, video they did on the paranormal stuff pack, they talked about how some of like the last minute features and some last minute objects made it into the game simply because the developers had finished working on these, like what they were doing, pretty early, and were given the ability to then, since they had extra time, to go back and add some other things. So it really does seem like a lot of the time when packs feel like they might have less than others, it just may come down to a budget and constraint kind of thing. Like they just didn't have time because EA was like, all right, I'm allotting you maybe this much money, or this many resources for this pack or whatever. That I'm still not 100% sure. Or if maybe EA's like, there's a strict deadline that we need certain stuff by. So I don't really know how that works. But to me, it really seems like from the kits that have been leaked so far, it seems like this really feels like things that could fit into other packs or could have been shoved into like other weird things, but maybe due to certain budget constraints or time constraints just never did. And now that they have access to doing these new kits, they seem more inclined to be able to be more hyper fixated. There's, like I said, I have mixed feelings on this. But so far, the kits that have been released or have been leaked, two of them I'm actually quite interested in. I'm not going to say excited for, but I'm definitely interested once we get more information to kind of read about it and find out what's like really going on. And then there's one that I just don't care about. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss and kind of speculate a little, kind of throw some thoughts out. Like I said, they're this new form of DLC. And by the way, they're kind of showing in the leaks that we got in some screenshots. It really feels like they're separate from packs, and they're supposed to be seen as packs. From this like one screenshot, they show the homepage, and it's like you can click here to see packs, and then you can click on to see kits. Like they're not looped at all in with packs, and that's a little weird to me. That makes me wonder how much they're gonna cost or how we're gonna be able to buy them. My main concern is that it's gonna be like a Sims 3 situation where you had to buy like Sim Bucks or whatever they were called for the store, or you can also earn Sim Bucks through different ways in the game. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I think if you like every time you bought an expansion pack or whatever, you got so many sim bucks or something like that. So I wonder if it'll work like that, or you'll have to like pay DLs like money into getting like this exchange rate they can use on the store. And I don't know how things will, exchange well. So definitely interested to see what's going on here. So, but like I said, because they're separate, I'm a little concerned. So let's go down the list of what are these new packs and what are their kind of selling points, if you will. All right, the first one we're going to talk about is the one I'm the least excited about, and it's Throwback Fit Kit. Outfit your Sims in retro-inspired athleisure looks for the Sims 4 Throwback Fit Kit. Take it back to nostalgic colors, bold patterns, and trend-forward silhouettes with these new Create-A-Sim items. Updated everyday classics and workout wear elevate this unique collection and your Sims fashion. I say this one's like the one I'm the least excited for, is just because it doesn't really seem, in my opinion, to really offer anything that groundbreaking to the game. There's some like 90s inspired looking clothing here, which I think will definitely appeal to certain people. Most of the clothing, definitely, I don't think is super, I don't say it's bad looking, and you can definitely mix and match it into your like day-to-day wear, but for like athletic wear, I'm not super into it. I just don't really care, and to me it just kind of feels like the fitness pack we already have, which to me kind of feels pointless. Doesn't really add anything if you ask me. The next one is Country Kitchen Kit.
Country boy, I love you.
Transform your Sims kitchen into the most charming part of the home with the Sims 4 Country Kitchen Kit. From vintage refrigerators to casserole dishes, these build and buy objects offer a delightfully trendy take on a timeless style. I am quite excited for this one. Part of that has to do with I am more of like a builder. Most of the time, like whenever, more times than not, when I go into The Sims, I'm probably going to build than I am to like do anything else. From what we've seen from the screenshots, it doesn't look like they're going to be getting any Create-A-Sim items, but we are getting quite a few little, with this pack, we'd be getting some like, some build and buy items. Once again, not too many. This does seem to be very more pared down compared to like a stuff pack. But like I said, there's like this new kind of oven that I actually do quite like. I actually think it's quite nice, and I could definitely see myself using it. There's like a new fridge. That one, I mean, unless I was using that stove or couldn't find like one of the other stoves to match it, I probably wouldn't use that fridge, but it's nice to have another fridge in the game. The counters to me are what really stand out, especially when we see the images here and it shows like all the different like top cabinet, and like all the different ways that the lower cabinets look. I think overall it looks quite nice. I like the kind of like fake clutter in it. The shelving's quite nice, and it looks like we're getting some new floor patterns and wall patterns that are I always, welcome those, especially since they really do help building. Overall, though, I would definitely say I'm quite excited for this one, or quite interested, but I'll say looking at it, they're definitely going to need to price this at a reasonable price if they're going to get me to buy it. And then the last one is Dust the Bust Kit. Dust off the vacuum and tidy up in The Sims 4 Dust the Bust Kit. Dust is piling up and spawning friendly bunnies and dastardly filth fiends in the Sims homes. Get rid of the muck by cleaning, or settle in for a messy life. Conquer chores with new buffs and rewards for each dust level. Vacuums help to fight the good fight in an aspiration related to cleanliness. I do quite like this one. This is the one I would say I'm oddly the most excited for. I don't know why I'm excited to play with trash, but I like, for like items, you only get 3 like stand-up vacuums and 2 handheld ones. Like there doesn't seem to be any new clothing, and there doesn't seem, but they do mention there's definitely kind of like a new in-game system, which I'm more interested in. That's like the dust building up and like dirt and grime and like the little dust bunny fiends. These are the things I'm more interested when it comes to kind of like these very specific little packs, because I could have seen something like this maybe being wrapped up into a generations pack, but seeing as they're separating it, I hopefully that means that like any potential generations pack we get can really hyper fixate on the specific age groups and fleshing out each life state rather than focusing on like cleaning. Like I said, I could definitely see that being thrown into something kind of like adult Sims can do, since adult Sims are the ones who generally clean up the houses. Of course, like maybe it could have been also been allowed for like kids and teens or whatever, but I definitely would have seen it being like marketed as like adult things. So I do quite like that rather than kind of shoving in there. That now means this can open up an opportunity for this to be put somewhere, like for other things to be put in there, if that makes sense. Who knows? I mean, we haven't gotten a Generations pack yet, so we can't really speculate, and we won't be able to until we know. But I do quite like that. This one to me feels like it's the one that makes the most sense. Like the first one, the like vintage retro clothing, I don't really care about. That could have been put in a stuff pack and come with a lot more items that actually felt like it was worth buying. For me, just like buying simply just 90s inspired leisure wear, I could have gotten a whole 90s stuff pack that literally, I don't know, could be called 90s stuff pack or whatever, and come with both this like athletic leisure wear, also with maybe some more iconic 90s clothing, like maybe a look inspired by Cher from Clueless. I feel like there's ways they could have done that in a way that I personally would have been more interested in. Same with the kitchen, the country kitchen. I quite like that one from what we see. I like the aesthetic of it, but I think that could have been wrapped up in maybe a farming pack, you know? And then we get to this one, and this is the one that makes the most sense to me, because other than maybe shoving it into like a generations pack, I can't really see where maybe anything other than maybe the base game that this would have fit. But of course, this is EA, and they're going to find ways to slip it in places to get money. And yeah, I don't think I really would have seen this put in another pack that really would have worked. Like maybe you could argue Laundry Day, but I don't think a stuff pack they would have allowed, I mean, a stuff pack to have both, laundry and dust bunnies. It's very interesting too, because when I'm looking at some of the articles written so much about this, there's one from Extra Time Media website, which I have not been on until today. They talk about how allegedly these, like each packs will focus on, either build and buy, create a sim, or gameplay. So really hyper fixating even more than stuff packs. And according to it, Country Kitchen's going to come with 15 build and buy items. The image I saw doesn't look like it's 15, but like I said, there's also different like levels of build and buy, so who knows. The throwback claims will include 23 new cast items. The image that we looked at doesn't seem to show all 23, but once again, maybe that's not the full image. And then once again, these also could also be including all the different swatches rather than like 15 specific individual items. It could be like 5, but they all come in different like X amount of swatches or whatever. And then the Bust the Dust kit comes with only 5 items, but oddly enough, that's the one I'm more interested in, because it's definitely more about a gameplay system, including a whole dust system, which I don't think we've ever had a very like in-depth dust system in The Sims 4. And who knows? I think this is one thing that it could be like, for example, Outdoor Retreat. I think Outdoor Retreat did camping right. It is the best camping simulator in The Sims 4 we've had so far. But it's camping, so I don't really use it that often. I don't know, I just don't want to go camping with my Sims. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who do though. And I feel like that's what this is going to be like. Like, I'm excited because I'm like, ooh, now my Sims can clean up dust. And there's somebody out there who's probably like, I don't want to play with trash in The Sims 4. But I do. So I have mixed feelings about this system. I don't really like the idea of them cutting up more DLC. Even if that meant, like, even if the reason they were cutting up is because they got the chance to really delve deep into ways that they haven't before, it's just so annoying to have to, like, pay for separate DLC to get vacuums. Like I said, I think the dust system is cool from what it sounds like, and I'm definitely, like, when this comes out, I'm gonna be purchasing that one at least. Even if I decide to, like, that I don't need the other two, that's definitely the one I'm most interested in and exploring. But yeah, I'm kind of with the community about, like, yeah, we need to definitely, I think, be more I don't know what the right word here is, but I wish the team was more mindful about how they cut up content, because I do think sometimes The Sims 4 cutting up past content, as some people word it as, I don't try to call it that way, but cutting up content opportunities, I do think sometimes works for The Sims 4. I think vampires and spellcasters are much more interesting than their past predecessors. I'll even say that I think aliens and mermaids are more interesting than their past predecessors, but those are definitely in places where I don't think they were done as well. And I think this goes for, like, there's just every once in a while where I'm like, okay, I see that you really were cutting up what we had before, or things that would have been put into fuller packs, and we have gotten better versions out of it from The Sims 4. For example, I quite like the retail system, but I do think sometimes some past retail systems, especially the Sims 2 retail system, was a little better. I definitely do see where they improved it in The Sims 4, but I also see some of, like, where it's really lacking. Another thing kind of like on that note, like Get Famous, for example. I think the new star system with that came with that pack is amazing, and I think it really did it right. Like, they, especially with the whole UI system around being a celebrity, like, they really got that one right. But at the same time, it's like the career gets a little repetitive, and we didn't get, like, a music career. And I personally would have liked that. I think I would have forego, maybe less of that career if it meant we could have gotten another career that was interactive. I don't know. Either way, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are kind of feeling that way, where The Sims 4 definitely cuts up content, and even though it does allow them to go further with certain ones, I don't think it always pays off in the way they're expecting. And I also do think sometimes they don't quite get it right, which, of course, they're humans, it's going to happen. But like I've said time and time again, not also in this video, but Outdoor Retreat, I think, is a great pack. They really were able to get, like, to define what camping is like, especially in a simulation game like The Sims 4. I think it's more interesting than, like, other camping systems we've gotten. Like, there's a camping system vaguely in The Sims 3. It came with World Adventures, and I think this one's a lot better. It feels a little bit more fleshed out. Of course, it does kind of lose some of the, like, flexibility The Sims 3 had. Like, you could set up a tent just about anywhere. In The Sims 4, not so much. You kind of have to be on a lot, and that can definitely complicate things. But compared to that camping system, though I think this one's a lot more in depth. But like I've said before, it's camping, and I don't really know who decided we needed a super in-depth camping system, if that makes sense. Just because like I said, I think they did a good job. I don't think it's a bad job. Like, there's some things I think they did a bad job on, but camping's just one of those where, like, you did a good job, but who asked? So I don't know. That's how I kind of feel here too. It's like this whole dust system could be super cool and could be super fun, but I think my overall feeling will kind of be, but why? Like, I definitely think it's nice that, like, your Sims houses can now fill up with trash and get dusty. Like, that's something I'm definitely into, especially it'll make hiring things like maids and butlers, like, a little bit more useful. But did you have to go this hard? We couldn't have just gone, like, tabletops get a little dusty, So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts and feelings so far. They'll probably change once these actually come out. And like I said, currently the only two I'm really interested in is the Country Kitchen and Bite the Dust. We'll have to see if I invest in the Throwback Fit Kit. Anyways, that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what you're thinking, if this is something you're interested in. And let me know, do you like the idea of kits? Do you hate them? And what are your kind of, thoughts and concerns? As always, try to be kind. Don't try to attack each other. And just do your best to be respectful. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.